Hey everyone, it's Daniel Graves, and I am back with an Ask Me Anything video for the year 2016. Now I know it's taken me a little bit of time to get around to doing this, but I've been pretty preoccupied. As many of you know, the band is now 100% independent. What does that mean? It means that we have no management, no labels. It's basically me doing everything. So since we're in the middle of booking a North American tour, a European tour, in the middle of promoting a new single, making a music video, all that kind of stuff, I just haven't had time to get around to this. But I've got all your questions right here on my iPad, and I'm ready to do it, so let's dive right in. Levy Nathan asks, what makes you choose one artistic direction over another when you're in the studio writing music? I just try to follow what sounds good to me, and I think that that's what most artists should do. It doesn't matter if you're a painter, a musician, a filmmaker, just follow what looks or sounds good to you, and don't worry about the rest. Fuck it. Break the mold. Make something new. Make something that you like. Fuck the rest. Elizabeth Davis asks, you've mentioned living overseas on an artist visa before. Is that hard to acquire and hard to do? I've always wondered how artists move around so much. Well, first off, I did not live on an artist visa. I lived on a student visa. When I first moved to Germany and I went to the immigration office, they were very, very unfriendly to me. Why? Because they said, who is this American who just wants to live in our country as an artist? He doesn't even have a lot of money. What is he contributing to our economy? We have, I think she said, a couple million people out of work in this country. What do you offer us? At the time I was a bit frustrated. I thought, why is she being such a bitch to me? But I think over the years I kind of realized how important it is to contribute to whatever country you're living in, be it your home country or a country that you're emigrating to. And so I started studying and learning German while I was there, and that's what got me my visa. It wasn't because me as an artist was so important to them that they just said, oh, please come into the country. No. I had to prove to them that I wanted to be a part of their culture and a part of their world, so that's when they gave me a visa. Marta Manning asks, you are a staunch anti-theist. Do you have any friends who are religious? I don't really know if any of my friends are religious. I think most of them are non-denominational if they are religious at all. Maybe they would define themselves as spiritual. I don't really know. If somebody is willing to be my friend and engage with me without trying to push any sort of religious agenda, then by all means, go for it. We live in a pluralistic society where all sorts of conflicting ideas are tolerated among peoples. Just because I don't agree with the Republican Party doesn't mean that I can't be friends with the Republican. The most dangerous thing is getting locked into an echo chamber where you only surround yourself with people who agree with you, and that just kind of reinforces your beliefs, your worldview, and that can be very, very dangerous because it's not just religion that's dangerous, it's a strict adherence, dogmatic adherence to any sort of ideology without being willing to question it or engage with people who think otherwise. Frey Frater asks, do you find it hard touring? You seem like a private person. We know you're married. Just wondering how it affects you and how you deal with touring. Well, touring is something that is very, very difficult and can put a strain on the personal relationships that you have in your private life. As you said, I am a private person. I'm personally not a private person. I'm very extroverted, if it wasn't obvious, but my wife is a very private person, so I tend to keep any sort of discussion of her out of the discussion. But yeah, I like touring, but I don't like what it does to my personal relationships, and I work hard to counter whatever damage it may do. Like all things in life, you have to make sacrifices. You have to sometimes sacrifice work for your personal life, and sometimes your personal life has to suffer for your work, and it's kind of the eternal struggle of finding that balance there. Samantha Early asks, have you ever been in theater, whether in high school, college, amateur, professional, or otherwise, and if so, what is your favorite play? Actually, when I was really young, I was enrolled in a Christian school, and I really, really loved acting. And I took part in all these really, really bizarre Christian propaganda musicals, and I don't even remember their names. I remember one had something to do with angels and baseball or something like that. It was crazy, crazy, crazy shit. But I really, really enjoyed that. And I had every intention of being an actor when I grew up. It was only after getting into middle school and discovering music like Nine Inch Nails that I decided, whoa, 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 actually, fuck movies, I want to be a musician. I haven't really kept up on the play scene since then, so I'm afraid I can't really tell you what my favorite theater piece is, because I haven't been to the theater in God knows how long. Esmeralda Moody asks, what are your thoughts on the public's ability to rip music right off of YouTube and other methods of free download? How do you feel about this age of non-physical possession? I have to admit, I don't really give too much of a shit if you pirate my music. Not that I don't give a shit, not that I would prefer that you pay, but I simply accept that this is the world we live in today. And I'm not going to waste too much energy trying to change that. However, this is my life. This is how I make my living. So anybody who's willing to go the extra mile and support me, I'm greatly appreciative of that. How I feel about the age of non-physical possession, I don't listen to CDs. I don't have any physical music anymore. I don't even have a CD player. We are living in a world where everything is streaming and digital, and I listen to most of my music on my phone. I watch most of my movies on Netflix, on my Apple TV. This is the future. Adapt or die, right? Let's adapt. Corbin Wilder asks, since your move to singles instead of albums, have you considered more collaborations? Who would be some people that you would want to collaborate with? I'll refrain from naming names, but I have been much more collaborative in the last couple of years. And that's not really anything to do with my whole philosophy of doing singles instead of albums. It's just, I've reached a point in my artistic career where I just feel motivated to work with other people and see what they can bring to the table. Because a lot of times, a band is much greater than the sum of its parts. So I have been absolutely working on some things like that. But I'm gonna keep the details to myself, just for now. Only for now. Josh Dangler asks, I've seen all the worst of videos you did, and it got me thinking, are you gonna do another one? And if so, where? Also, what's your poison? What's your favorite alcoholic drink? Well, first of all, yes, there will be more worst of pub crawl videos, most definitely. I've had a lot of fun doing that. I think people recognize the kind of unique absurdity of it, and if you know me at all, you know that I love absurdity. I would like to go to Las Vegas next. We're working on that, but as I said before, I'm in the middle of tour planning and a whole bunch of other crazy shit that actually earns me money, so it's probably going to be a little while before we make the next pub crawl video. What's your poison? My favorite poison, an old fashioned. It's a simple, straightforward drink, just some bitters, some rye whiskey, a little bit of sugar, ice, dash of water, lemon peel, orange peel, forgive me. That's the shit. That's my drink. Lydia Cole says, what are your tattoos of and what are their meanings? Well, as you can see, I have a number of tattoos and some of them are not visible given the kind of composition of this shot here. Up here, this arm, this is mostly old Universal horror movie monsters. This is a giant kraken squid thing, a majig. Really, my tattoos don't mean anything to me. I don't get into any sort of deep philosophical, introspective bullshit. I don't know. I don't care. I just get tattoos of things that I think are cool. I've loved squids my entire life, and I knew that I had to have a kraken pulling down a ship grew up with Frankenstein and The Mummy and Dracula, and those old movies, those old horror movies really kind of shaped my visual aesthetic. But beyond that, no, I don't have anything deep or symbolic. I mean, on my leg I have T-Rex strapped to a rocket with Elton John's Rocket Man lyrics going around him. There's nothing deep about that. Maggie Olivia asks, when will you do another US tour? Well, we're booking one right now. Please keep an eye on our Facebook, please keep an eye on our website, and if you want to, I absolutely recommend you sign up for the newsletter, as social media and its algorithms can be bullshit and just not deliver the information to you. Same goes for the European tour. I don't have the exact date range just yet, but it's going to happen, so please keep an eye open for it. Maria Simonov asks, du hast in Österreich gelebt. Wie gut ist dein Deutsch? Kann man vielleicht in Zukunft ein Lied von dir mit deutschem Text hören? Naja, mein Deutsch ist okay. Es ist nicht perfekt, es funktioniert. Aber es ist ziemlich schwer, mich auszudrücken auf Deutsch. Und deswegen glaube ich, es wurde ziemlich schwer, Texte auf Deutsch zu schreiben. Vielleicht eines Tages, aber noch nicht. Keenan Candelaria asks, if touring came to an immediate cease for an extended period of time, what would you do for income to cover bills for day-to-day living? I don't know if you've noticed, I haven't really been on a proper tour in 3 years. This mesh tour that we just did in Europe, it was 3 weeks long. It's the longest tour that I had done since 2014. Most of my money is made through music royalties, online merchandise sales, and remixes. So I would probably just stick with those 3 things. I just happen to like touring, and I'm looking forward to getting back on the saddle and doing it again. Dan Zoom asks, out of all your hits, which do you dislike most, and why? Well, to be honest with you, I don't really like any of my songs. I mean, sure, I like them, and I love them in a certain way because they're my children, they're personal extensions of me, but it's the process of writing that's the catharsis for me. When I'm creating it, I'm like, this is the most fucking awesome thing ever. And then when it's finished, I'm like, does this suck? This sucks. I don't think I ever want to hear it again. And so when it comes on in a club, I literally leave the room because it's just that uncomfortable for me to hear my own songs, especially in the presence of other people. I guess I imagine it being sort of like a parent walking in on their kid having sex. It's just like, I know it happens and I'm just gonna back away. Tim Bonner asks, how did it feel to make your own label? Fucking terrifying. I don't know what I'm doing. I'm just winging it, man. Let's just hope for the best, okay? Trip Johnson asks, what drives you? What inspires you to continue your work? There's many aspects to that question. I mean, I often get discouraged because, something that I'm doing isn't working out or resonating with people or whatever. And then you'll get a Facebook message or an email from somebody explaining how much what I do means to them. And that really motivates me to keep going, because I didn't really set out to help people in my whole musical adventure here, but knowing that I am, or that being a side effect of it, is genuinely rewarding, and at least I'm contributing something positive to this world, because otherwise I would be contributing nothing. What motivates me internally is just, I have this kind of insatiable drive for, I don't even know what it is. Is it success? Is it money? Is it attention? Is it just a need to be better than I was before? I think it's probably a combination of all of those things. I want to be a good musician because I want to be a good musician. I want to be loved and adored because I'm a musician and all of our egos are totally fucked up and we need some sort of outside validation. So, come on guys, help me here. This is a weird journey and I don't know what else to do but this. so I'm just gonna keep going. Marcus Roth asks, what is your favorite baked treat? Well, that's easy. It's carrot cake. It's the fucking best. Avaji asks, describe yourself in 3 words. Selfish, drunk, and motivated. Jordan Jacobs asks, what's your favorite 8-bit video game? That is easy, it's Mega Man 2. Everybody knows it's Mega Man 2. It's the best side-scrolling 8-bit game fucking ever. Yvonne Herveau asks, which part of your body do you dislike the most and why? Well, Tim Van Horn broke my nose in 2009 with an ice cream sandwich to the face. It was straight out of the freezer and rock hard. And he broke my nose, and ever since then I have this bump here. And I hate it. And it just has killed my whole left profile. I always have to let you see me like this instead of like this because Tim Van Horn ruined it. So blame Tim Van Horn. Zachary Myers asks, if you had a track inspired by Donald Trump, what would it be called? I would never, ever, ever write a song about Donald Trump. 1, because he doesn't even deserve the time it would take to write that song. And 2, I hate political music. Why are you going to spend your time creating something with an expiration date? Trump is going to leave office someday. George Bush left office. All of those anti-Bush songs or albums or whatever, they're totally obsolete now. Who cares? What is somebody in 20 years going to relate to about an anti-Bush song or an anti-Trump song? Write songs that are about the core of your human experience, something that even a Trump supporter can relate to. That's kind of the whole point of art, at least for me, is to be something that unifies us and not divides us. So no, I would never, ever, ever write an anti-Trump song. Dietmar Grobs asks, which podcast do you like the most? Absolutely, hands down, my favorite podcast is Waking Up by Sam Harris. Sam is part of what is known as the New Atheist movement. I think that what he has to say is much more relevant and philosophically interesting than that. It's very easy to rail against organized religion. It's much more difficult to analyze deep philosophical questions about ethics and morality in an honest way where literally nothing is off limits. So I listen to literally every episode that Sam puts out, and you should too. Paula Corral asks, what made you take this path of creating this kind of music? Why not heavy metal or rock or pop? I suck at guitar. I'm good at computer. And finally, Jan Patrick Hempel asks, would you ever move to Germany again? I mean, sure. I love Hamburg. I lived in Berlin for a year. I thought it was wonderful. I think if I went back to Europe, though, I would most likely go back to Austria, mainly because I love the mountains, I love my family, and I would just like to have a nice house in the middle of nowhere there, and build a cellar, build a studio art space, and just kind of get away from all this LA bullshit and be alone and create. So it looks like I've covered everything. Guys, thank you so much for the questions. This is always really fun to do. Please don't forget, I've got a new single, Love Like Lies, coming out December 2nd, digitally on my Close to Human music label. Of course, like always, I've got a music video coming out as well. And we're going to be hitting the road in January in North America and in April in Europe. So please keep an eye on all of my socials, follow us, check out the dates, and see you soon. Thank you.